Try not to clap too near the microphone. Force of habit, apologies. Hello and welcome to this week's Natural Gardening Live with me, Josie Rainbird, your natural gardening coach. Today we are talking about, find what we're talking about, in this week's Natural Gardening Live, I'm talking about the different seeds that you can sow between now and March, so between now and spring, basically, that will help to reduce the pressure of garden care, reduce the pressure to help maintain the overall health of your garden and just to make life easier for you in the garden. So these are seeds that we are talking about today. So if you haven't, let me know in the comments, have you started buying your seeds yet? And if so, or if not, maybe these are some of the seeds that you might want to add to your list. Now I have a smear on my glasses, I can see it. It's going to annoy me through the whole live. It's fine, I can live with it. It's not going to be that bad. I can deal with it. Stare down the bottom of my glasses. Oh, lovely. Yes, so these plants will grow quickly and easily in your garden, and they will help to manage and maintain the health of your garden as we go through the year. So that's really good. So this is what we want. Like something that will make life easier for us, that will help to maintain the health of your garden, feed your garden, pest control, that kind of thing. As we go through the year, you don't have to worry about it so much. So seeds you can sow now while it's quiet, wintry, not a lot else you could possibly do in the garden besides planning seed sowing, a little bit of seed sowing, and prepping the soil and things ready for mulching the soil, should I say, ready for spring. These are something you can do now. So let me have a look. So let's take the banner away so you can see me. Perfect. Okay. So a number of plants which can support your garden in more ways than just growing, producing flowers, producing vegetables, that kind of thing. So they can support your garden in more ways than just that. They can provide food for your plants. They can provide pest control, as I just said, as an example. They provide pest control. They or promote pest control, kind of the same thing, but you know, and even structural support. It's going to be a fun one. I can feel it. So yeah, and even structural support. So by choosing to grow these types of plants in your garden, in and amongst your plants that you've already got growing, or perennials and things you've already got growing, you can affect how much care your garden actually needs from you directly, how much managing your garden needs from you directly, which can actually reduce the amount of care and the amount of stress and the amount of cost your garden brings. So, perfect. The knock-on effect is it will create more time for you to relax and enjoy your garden, which is the entire point of it, to actually enjoy the garden you're creating. Relax and enjoy your garden, taking in and enjoying the space that you've created, which is perfect, whilst knowing the garden is being looked after by nature. So, can't really get better than that, can it? Let's face it. Okay, as I go through these plants, I'll talk about talk a little bit about how they can support the garden, how you can support you as a gardener as well. If you've got any questions as we go through, feel free to comment them. I will check them out, keep an eye on. I'll get the comments up now so I can see them as they pop up. Comment as we go. I'll try and answer them or try and address them as I see them. If not, I'll do it at the end or after the live, and I'll go through as I see them. So that's absolutely fine. If you're catching this on replay, give me a hashtag replay, just to let me know you're on replay, and comment any questions you've got as you go through. If you can make them clear, because sometimes I get comments about general parts of the live, and if I catch them after the live's over or after you've watched it on replay, it's very hard to work out what the question's related to. So if you can kind of make them clear if you're on replay, but you know, do your best. Or give me a timestamp if you can. That would be good. Something along those lines. But yes, it can be a bit of fun, like detective work, trying to work out what the questions relate to. So as we go through, comment anything you've got, any questions you've got as we go through. I'll try and pick those up. So without further ado, let's crack on. So what do you struggle with most in your garden? Let me know in the comments. What challenge, should I say, affects your garden the most? I'm going to go for a couple of them now. Let me know if these affect you, if they trigger you. What do you struggle with most? Let me know in the comments. See if any of this can help you. So feeding your plant is one of the most important things. Especially if you have a new garden or your soil's not so good, your plants will need more feeding to make up for the, naff soil. If you've got a new garden, generally speaking, especially if it's a new build as well. I found new builds tend to have really crud soil. There's like they've built the house and all the crud goes into the garden, so the soil ain't great usually. If it's an older house, the soil is usually much nicer, much more fertile. So yes, so feeding is an important part of your garden. We know this, and if you've got a new build or new house, new garden to you, you don't know what the soil's like, or the soil is just naff, then the plants are going to need more feeding. This is kind of expected. There are many plants that you can actually sow now, which can provide much needed food for your garden, which is perfect. Really, they can grow. They can provide. Seriously, my brain today. They can provide the food. It's not difficult. They can provide the food as they grow, in turn reducing the need for you to feed your garden and pay for food, make food yourself, feed in your garden as you go through the year. So it's really good that if you can grow plants, I'll go through some of the plants in a second, so don't panic. If you can grow these plants, if you can sow them now, grow them in your garden throughout the spring and summer, then you're going to drastically reduce the amount of added feed you need to add to your soil or to your plants, watering them on, all that sort of thing. So it's going to save you a fortune in time and money doing all this. So planting the plants that feed your garden. Let me talk you through the plants that will feed your garden, if I can find them on my list. I rambled a little bit and I went past where I was. Okay, so plants such as sweet peas. We have spoken about this before. So plants such as sweet peas, lupins, vetch, medic and trefoils. They're all in the legume family. So these will provide nitrogen from the nodules on their roots. So we've spoken about this before. I will try and find the video that I've done before. If you're in the group, if you're watching from the group on Facebook, I will try and find the posts I've done in relation to this as well, and I'll repost those so you can see those. There's a lot of good information on there. If I can find the videos, I'll repost those as well. If you're watching this on YouTube, hello, welcome. The link to the group is in the description for you if you'd like to join, and I will try and find the links to the videos that relates to the sweet pea feeding your garden as well. So I'll link those in the description for you. So that over. So these will provide nitrogen in the form from the nodules that grow on the roots and release it back into the soil for your plants, for the plants around them to take in as they need it. So this is a real lifesaver when it comes to some plants, especially in the spring and summer. So it's extremely useful in the spring and summer as your garden is going through a time of rapid growth. We know this about spring. It's time of rapid growth, and your plants need the nitrogen for the new growth and the chlorophyll production, that kind of thing, photosynthesis. So nitrogen is incredibly sought after. That's not the right word, but that's what's coming into my head. It's needed. The plants are hungry for nitrogen in spring and summer. So having these plants growing in your garden, readily processing nitrogen and from the nodules on the roots, releasing it back out to the soil, your plants are going to keep lapping it up because they're going to keep growing rapidly until sort of midsummer, heading into autumn. So they're going to need this. So it's incredibly important to have these plants in your garden, if I say so myself. As I say, I will put this into a post as well, so you don't worry. All the information will be there. So without nitrogen, these are some of the signs of stress and nitrogen deficiency are your plants will become stunted, unhealthy, obviously, because of any deficiency. It's not healthy, it's unbalanced. So your plants become stunted, unhealthy. The leaves will start to curl inwards as well, and they will start to go yellow. With, what's the word? Like a period of time of them being nitrogen deficient, they will go from yellow onto brown burnt edges as well. So they will continue to get yellower and yellower until the plant eventually will completely die off. So that is extreme. But if you have any members of the legume family, which again, I'll go through them again in a second, growing in the garden, you should be fine because they'll be continuously putting nitrogen back into the soil for your plants to draw from, which is really good. So the legume family is vast. There are many annuals that you can sow now. So as I say, like sweet peas and various other things that you can sow now. My voice is going already. But there are many perennials, shrubs and trees as well that will do the same job. So these will continue to feed your garden as they grow and as they mature. So lupins are very good. I've got lupins in the garden. I've several lupins actually, different areas of the garden, different colours. They're very good. They're quick growing as well, and you can divide them up each year. So that's really good. So you can have more and more plants. I tend to, I will say, because I've got quite a few now, I do tend to, when I do dig them and divide them, I tend to either give them to people or I donate them to good causes. I leave them outside the driveway sometimes as well for people to collect. But yes, so I tend to divide and then donate because we have got quite a few lupins in the garden. They are lovely. They're really nice to look at, but there's only so many places you can put a lupin in the garden before it starts to get silly. So they do get donated quite a lot as well. But lupins are very good, and where they've got such vast root systems and they do grow really quickly, they produce a lot of nitrogen, so it's good. Acacias and wisteria, they're also in the legume family. So they mature slowly as well, and they can last for years as well. You can really get ancient plants they can get. They're very strong. So they will produce a lot of nitrogen for your garden and really support your garden as well. Wisterias are really good for climbing support as well. So if you've got wisteria growing and then you have, say, like a clematis or passion flower, anything like that growing around them, then they can use that as support if you've got an older wisteria. So that's another good way of them supporting your garden. But acacias and wisterias are really good, strong, healthy support for your garden when it comes to feeding your plants. Croaking here. Okay, so because I'm going to forget to do this, I put a little note in here to remind me. Before I forget again, because I forgot at the beginning of it, even though I put a note in. If you're getting value from these lives, I always forget to say this. If you get value from these lives, you're watching this on YouTube, please, I encourage you, please give it this stream a thumbs up, like whatever you heart, anything you want, just to like show me, not a thumbs down though, please. Yeah, please give it a like or a heart or something, just to show that you're enjoying what I'm putting out. The streams are good. It gives feedback also to the algorithm to whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're watching. So it does help me a long way. And if you're watching on YouTube, please do the YouTube things. If you want to see more from this channel, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Again, the thumbs up on YouTube will help to show my videos to more people. Subscribing will help you to see my videos as and when they come out. You can see the rest of my videos as well that are all for subscribe only or whatever. So if you subscribe, and it shows your support for me as well. So it's always appreciated. So that's that done. Before I forgot again. I always forget. It never seems to be important in my brain. So I always forget. So I thought I'd get it. I put a note on the screen so I don't forget. Okay, where were we? So I mentioned feeding. So we're talking about feeding just now, about the legume family. But garden care is more than just feeding your garden. As much as it is important, don't get me wrong, there's more to it than just feeding your garden. It's all about balance at the end of the day. So pest control is also very important. We talked about it at the beginning. Pest control is also a massive issue in the garden, especially when your garden's out of balance and slightly unhealthy. So as much as you can keep up the feeding, you also need to manage the pest control as well. So it can also be an issue and can cause severe damage, stress to your garden and us as gardeners as well. Now, a lot of plants can promote a good, healthy defense against pest damage in your garden. But today I want to talk about a few seeds that you can sow now, as I said earlier, that you can sow now that will actually make a difference. So while it's cold and wet outside, or cold and snowy in some areas, these are some things that you can do to manage the health of your garden as you go through the year. So some of the plants that you can sow now, whether it's on your kitchen windowsill, in your greenhouse, if you've got a propagator set up, anything like that, I wouldn't recommend sowing them out into the garden because they won't germinate until the soil gets to at least 10 degrees, between 8 and 10. So they're probably no good outside, but you can sow them inside on a windowsill or in a propagator or anything like that. So I've lost my plants. Okay, so some of the plants that you can sow now are, with an exception there, Nepeta, so like catmint, marigolds and French marigolds, mint, Chives is a good one. Mint, I don't tend to sow mint so much as take root cuttings from the plants I've got in the garden. So if I ever want to propagate mint, it's generally root cutting. I have taken softwood cuttings as well from mint, but they take so well from root cuttings. There's really no point taking a softwood cutting. So yes. So Nepeta, French marigolds or standard pot marigolds, mint, chives, so peppermint, pineapple mint, whatever sort of mints you like, and chives are extremely efficient at and effective, sorry, not efficient, at repelling soft-bodied insects from your plants. This means if you plant them in and around your garden, they'll also repel them from the rest of your garden as well. So they do have a really good like barrier effect or like shield effect, if you like. So wherever you put them in your garden, they tend to protect the plants around them, which is really good. A lot of herbs do this really well. Getting off the subject of things you can sow now, a lot of herbs do this as a really good companion plant. So by the way they have a strong scent, so like sage and things like that. This is why chives are really good, because of the really strong oniony scent, especially if you cut them and they have like the wounds, if you like, they seep out. That chive oil, the like oniony smell that they give off, it's very effective. Keeps the pests away. It's very good. But a lot of herbs do this really well because of the scent they give off. It disguises the plants around them, and then it will also deter sort of nuisance insects as well, because they don't like the smell. They can't do the strong scent. Carrot flies are really good. If you plant coriander with carrots, carrot and coriander, we all know goes together very well in a soup. But if you plant coriander or even parsley, if you want to go down the parsley route, same sort of thing, plant it with carrots, it will keep carrot fly away, because if you damage a carrot, like a leaf or anything, that attracts in the carrot fly. If you do that and you've got coriander planted around them, the carrot fly can't smell the damage, so they won't know where the carrots are to find them. Little useless bit of information there for you. So that's a really good way of companion planting. We're planting herbs in and around your vegetable patch. Now, I've lost where I am now. Marigolds, chives, there we go. Lemon scented herbs work really well as well to deter, or what's the word, like repel nuisance flying insects as well. So very useful to have in a pot when you have a barbecue or a party outside. So like a citronella candle, you'd burn it to keep gnats and things away. Lemon, like lemon balm, anything like that, lemon scented herbs. If you crunch them a little bit, like scrunch the plant to release some of the oils, it works really well as well with like essential oils, lemony or citrus essential oils. So it works very well. But lemon herbs are nicer. So if you have lemon scented herbs, scrunch them a bit, have them in a pot around your barbecue area or whatever. They do a very good job of keeping the gnats away. Another one there for you. Yes, so I tend to grow, going back to the marigolds, Nepeta, mint and chives, I tend to grow these plants in particular in pots. They tend to be quite, especially mint, quite invasive, and they can grow wild in your garden if you're not careful. So by growing in their pots, they're easy to manage. You do have to watch the roots going down through the bottom of the pot. So if you put a crock in the bottom of the pot, it does tend to prevent them growing through the pot, which is always good. Or just move the pot around every now and then and trim the roots. You could do that as well. But growing them in pots is definitely a better way to go, because it prevents them taking over your garden and causing them to become the issue rather than them solving an issue. And plus, if you grow them in pots, you can move them around your garden to wherever the issue might be. So you don't have to have them in one particular space all the time. You can move them around, which is even better. That's what I do anyway. It works quite well for me. From experience. So, right. I've lost where I am now, so apologies. So we spoke about companion planting with the herbs in your vegetable patch. Now, I'm just trying to read and talk. It doesn't work, especially when what you're reading isn't what you're thinking. Yes, so I think I did this last week as well on the last live. Don't know my water over. Go over there. I have put together the sowing and growing guide, which I put together last spring for ready for sowing your vegetables in the spring, summer or springtime. So I put that together, and in there is my companion planting guide. Now this guide has got, which I will link in the description and I'll put in the Facebook group as well, so you know where it all is. But this guide has got obviously all the seeds you can sow now. It's got a calendar of all the seeds you can sow, when you can plant them out, when you can harvest them. so you can guide and plan yourself through the year, which is really good if you haven't started planning a vegetable patch yet. And in the back, it's got the companion planting guide, which tells you which vegetables grow together really well and which herbs you can plant with them as well to support them, to help them like grow together, support their health, that kind of thing. Get a better, more productive vegetable patch as well. So it really goes well with interplanting. So that works very well. So like growing basil and French marigolds and lettuces with tomato plants in your greenhouse. They all work well together. They don't fight for space or moisture or food. And the marigolds and the basil work really well as pest control and attracting pollinators, as an example. But that's all in the companion planting section of this guide. So say I will link it in the group for you, and I will link it in the description to this video so you can check that out. It's a free download. It's a free guide. It's quite an extensive guide. It's quite a big one, but there's loads of goodies in there. So you don't have to read it all at once. It's fine. It's not like a massive book or anything. It's fine. So look out for that. I will leave the link for you to download yourself whenever you're ready. Yes, so then we go back through and just go through the plants. So you've got a list. I will list these as well in the group. So you will have an active list. So you can go, if you want to buy the seeds, you will know which ones. So the ones to feed your garden are plants in the legume family. So sweet peas are good to sow now. I've lost where I am. Hang on. Bear with me. Yes, so sweet peas you can sow now. You can sow lupins now, but I tend to buy them as a small perennial potted plant because they grow faster that way. You can sow them though now. Vetch, medic, and trefoils. Now, trefoils are like truffles. I nearly said then. I like clovers as well. So they tend to be more wildflowers than anything, but you can get seeds for them as well. So they're really good to sow now, but especially the sweet peas. You can sow those now very effectively and they become very strong plants. If you sow them now and plant them out pre-spring, sort of like 4 to 6 weeks after planting, they're very good, strong plants. They grow really quickly. So they will go a long way to, if you have enough of them dotted around your garden, to feeding a lot of your garden and producing a lot of nitrogen for your garden. If you've got plants like, as I say, lupins in your garden already, acacia trees or wisterias growing, they will do the same job as well. They will produce a lot of nitrogen for your garden, which is really important for the spring summer. Sowing things like lepita, marigolds or buying lepita plants, marigolds, French marigolds, mint and chives, very effective pest control plants. So again, this will be also in the sowing and growing guide. Just trying to see if I've got the link in here. I have. Yes, so I can do it. That's fine. I'll have to go and find the link otherwise. So all of that information is also in the sowing and growing guide in the companion planting section at the back. So you can download that. So that's all today. I can't see any comments, so that's fine. Perfect. No, that's cool. If you're watching this replay and you have got questions, please feel free to post as you go through. As I said at the beginning, if you got value from today's video or for today's live, if you're catching a replay of the video, please feel free to give us a thumbs up, give us a heart, give us something to say you've enjoyed the live, the stream. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe if you want to see more from my channel or from myself. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. So that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed, and I will catch you on next week's episode. Look out for the thumbnail arriving on Sunday, and we will see you later. So have a great evening, have a great week, and we'll catch you all later. See you later.